Boyfriend, 26M, left me, 22F, on the road with broken leg, unable to get up. Now he says he misses me. On the 6th of October, my partner and I attended a medical ball that my workplace hosted. For some reference, I am a registered nurse and he is completing an electrical trade and an engineering degree. We had been on the rocks for a while, and the night before the ball, we had gotten into quite a big fight. We'd fight about where our lives were taking us. He wanted to settle down in our small hometown, and I had interests in moving away. Nonetheless, I was willing to settle down with him. However, in the end, it seemed like I was giving up a lot more of my future to suit his desires. I'd travel 100 kilometers to see him most of the time, but he'd complain that an hour was too long to drive to see me. He'd also do things like subscribe to OnlyFans accounts just to see my reaction. The night of the ball, the vibe was off. Despite me trying to introduce him to some of my work colleagues or getting him to dance with me, all he wanted to do was sit at the table and scroll through Facebook. He would often just go outside and talk to his friends on the phone. When we were in the Uber, making our way back to my place, we had gotten into another argument due to me questioning why he came to the ball, if his intentions were to sit outside and barely speak to me. He didn't like being questioned. He shut down my feelings. As we arrived back at my house, he decided to end things with me. He said it was due to us living 100 km away from each other, and he said that we weren't compatible. At the time, this took me by surprise, and me being me, I started crying. He then proceeded to walk down the street, and I ran after him to try and change his mind. As I done this, he also sprinted ahead. I was wearing heels at the time, and I was running that fast my legs couldn't keep up with the speed I was going, so I fell over quite hard. I could not get back up as my right knee and lower leg hurt too much. I was crying and screaming in pain that I needed help, and he just left me there. My phone was dead at this point, so I waited crying and yelling in agony until someone walked by and called me an ambulance. It turns out that I had a fractured tibia, and I had completely torn my meniscus and PCL, strongest ligament in the knee. Fast forward 2 months, and I have now had a knee reconstruction, and am unable to weight bear for 6 to 10 weeks. He has recently messaged me saying how much he misses me and how incomplete his life feels without me. He didn't realize I had broken my leg and messed up the inside of my knee. However, I don't think that's any excuse. Personally, I think if he cared about me or had any human decency, he wouldn't have left me crying in the middle of the road unable to get up. I'm just looking for some advice for what I should do. Update. Thank you for all the comments. A few questions I've seen raised here. In the message I received from him on Saturday, he said how he missed me and his life was incomplete without me. He then went on to say he has next to no will to live and isn't doing well. I guess this has pulled on my emotional strings a little. Did he know afterwards about the damage caused to my leg? Yes, he did. The hospital called him as he was my emergency contact. He didn't answer, and they left a voicemail. The following day, he tried to contact me. He explained that in the moment he couldn't have cared less what happened to me, but he felt bad for having that thought. He then had the audacity to ask me to be friends, as he still generally cared about me. Putting this into writing actually sounds ridiculous. I currently am engaging in psychotherapy. After being raised by a narcissist, I often find it difficult to leave someone on my own accord. I am working on it, though. For my entire life, I've been made to feel like I'm the problem, or I'm the one who should apologize and welcome people back into my life with open arms, and after living with a narcissist for 21 years of my life, excluding this year as I moved out of home, it is hard to break the cycle. My ex-partner would say he'd change and be the perfect boyfriend for a while, until things would get back into their normal, shitty cycle, and toward the end, he would become more aggressive, especially when he drank alcohol, which was nearly on the daily. I think by putting up this post and others here confirming my own thoughts, I don't feel like a bad person for keeping him out of my life. I'm still going to remain engaged in therapy, as I do have a lot of issues regarding my own self-respect, and realistically, even feeling bad for the guy shows how little regard I have for myself. All the while I have a lot of physiotherapy to do. But the worst part is, I have so much time to just sit with my own thoughts while I'm practically immobilized, and I always try to see his side of things. I wish I didn't do this as much as I do. Now, what's your opinion for OP? What advice you'll give? And now, here's some comment for OP on our community section. From PL487, ex-boyfriend, he broke up with you. Block him and move on. And next is from LeSorban. He said that we weren't compatible. Just send this sentiment back. You might add, I need a considerate boyfriend. We're not compatible. A text is the maximum he deserves from you before you block him. He didn't have to know the full extent of your injuries to show compassion. When someone tells you who they are, believe them. And last is from a small moth of prey. Holy shit. The fact that you are even considering taking him back screams that you need to be single for a long time. Your meter for what is acceptable and healthy in relationships is completely fucked. You need a hard reset and lots of time off from dating. You must learn to love and respect yourself before you can expect to find a respectful, loving partner. And here's our next story. I-28M tried to set boundaries to my 28FGF and it didn't go well. My GF hangs a lot with her guy friends. Almost 80% or her friend group are guys. We have been together 1.5 years, so her hanging with guys is not a big deal with me. I'm not over-jealous person. But the thing is that she has been in sauna twice with her guy friend. I don't mind her going sauna with a group, but I told her that if she is hanging 1v1 with somebody, I don't feel comfortable her going sauna. The guy always has been naked, but my GF has wore bikinis. Anyway, I tried to told her that this think makes me little stressed. I know almost all the guys has some kind of crush to my GF. So I tried to set her boundary that I don't want her going to sauna without me, and I don't like her doing it if she is drinking alone with somebody. So next think is that my GF proceed to tell me that I can't hang out with my female friends without her if she can't go to sauna. I tried to told her that these are totally different things. I don't mind her hanging out, but the sauna makes me uncomfortable. She told me that me hanging out with my female friend makes her uncomfortable, so it is the same thing. Are I right or wrong here? If I set boundary over the sauna, can she tell me that I can't see my female friends without her? So guys, what's your good advice for OP? Does he really need to set boundaries? For me, yes, of course, he should. Let me know about your own thoughts for his situation. And here's some of the comment from our community. Let's find out. From Contagious Cure, just say, fine, I won't hang out 1v1 with my female friends in a sauna. And next is from Lingonslask. If you don't want a GF that goes to a sauna alone with a naked guy, you break up. That's what a boundary mean. If you want to discuss what's okay and what's not okay in your relationship, that is something else. The way you describe it, it sounds unfair to compare her being alone with a naked guy to you having female friends, but I don't know how you act with those female friends. It's also not uncommon that people feel that they shouldn't have any friends of the opposite sex at all. What I would be concerned with here is that she doesn't make any effort to understand your concern. And lastly is from Hanan318, boundaries are for you, not for the other person. You can tell her it makes you uncomfortable and you don't want to date someone who does those things. You have no right to tell her that she can't do them. The boundary part is where you break up if she acts in a way you can't handle, not where you tell her what she can and can't do. Hard to say without hearing the conversation, which you did, but keep that in mind. Boundaries are always for you and what you will or won't live with. Never for the other person and what they can or can't do. I think what you're asking is fairly reasonable. If she doesn't want to keep to that, no big deal, but you should break up.